So as the coronavirus pandemic spreads globally, it affects all areas of our life, including business. And it's hard to make sense of the whole situation and understand our role in this process. And to help us get some clarity and perhaps even figure out what our next step should be, I'm joined here today by a very, very special guest. I'm here today with Maria Luisa Camarata. She is a Global HR Senior Director at Groupe, managing over 5,000 employees all over the world. And she's also based in Italy, which is one of the hotspots of this entire crisis. So Luisa, welcome, and thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you very much, everyone. And thank you, Nicola, for asking me to attend this recording.
It's a pleasure. First of all, how are you doing? What's the atmosphere like in Italy this last few days or weeks, actually?
Yeah, actually, it's a very strange situation. But I mean, we all know that we are doing this for our health system to protect our nurses, our doctors. So people more or less are recognizing that we must do this in a very diligent way. Then when it goes to the atmospheres, it's a very strange one. But okay, we can manage this, and we are recovering slowly, but recovering.
Yeah, and just like we were talking before we started recording, it's no one has ever been in this situation before, so it's very hard for us to imagine, what's coming next, what should we expect, how can we prepare. And talking to managers and leaders and HR professionals here in Serbia, one of their biggest challenges is this uncertainty of not knowing what's next. And we've realized that you in Italy have been in this process slightly longer than us, so maybe you can help us understand what are some of the phases that are going here? What can we expect in the next couple of weeks in terms of business? How do we run business? What do we do with organizations, our people? What can we expect?
It's definitely a very life experience of this VUCA, situation, volatile, and all these things that you know very well. There are no things that you can do, but just that you can forecast at least. The only way to manage this situation is, first of all, to ensure that you are very well informed about what is happening or what could happen. Then, of course, you should have a constant flow of information, both sides. First of all, you should understand what is happening, but also ensure that people that you're managing understand as well what could eventually happen to them and to the organization. So this is priority number one. Communication is becoming more and more important. Then knowledge sharing. This is becoming the second priority, because it's not easy to manage this tough situation. So information is spread everywhere. You don't know exactly what to do. So having a different point of view, different scenarios also can help you to take decisions. Then decisions are like volatile as well, because you take one decision one day and then the day after the government changes mind, or maybe industries react in different ways, or maybe there are other external factors. So what you have taken as a decision the day before, you should change it the day after. So this is the hardest part of this job today, because, normally people are looking for the manager to have like ideas, and they have to take decisions, they have to lead the company and so on. In this time, you have to ensure that people understand that you cannot have the right answer every day, every minute, but that you are in a constant process of finding solutions for the organization, for people, for your family, and so on. So it's this is the hardest part. Where we are in Italy at the moment, at least the government has decided that we should stay at home. We must stay at home. Everything is more or less closed. So since Sunday this week, we know that nobody can really work apart from special sectors. This is really helping to clarify. And this is helping also the organization to ensure that we are taking care of our people and we are providing services to our customers in the right way. Because at the beginning there was a little bit of uncertainty, so you didn't know exactly what you could do or what you couldn't do, apart from ensuring that people were safe and okay while working, of course.
So we started here with virtual working, with removing all the people and sending them home, at least all who can. This is the second week now. So we started last week, and during last week, pretty much everyone who was able to work from home is now thankfully working from home. So we're still very fresh to this idea and this concept of teams that were used to work in the office suddenly are working remotely. So what would you say to those managers, those leaders? What is their biggest challenge at this point, and what should they focus on to make the most out of the situation?
Okay, the first priority is to ensure that people are okay while working from home, because it's not that easy. Okay, you should get used to this, balance your professional life with your private life, ensuring that your kids, if you have someone that you have to take care of, it's okay as well while you're working. And this is not easy sometimes. So it's the priority number one is to ensure that people are really able to work and not just connected with someone, or just like me and you having this conversation. They should work and be productive. Then the second thing is that more and more, after a few days, people will realize that they are alone. They are isolated. They are no more having coffees. This may be something very much related to the Italian culture, but people are really missing their relatives. They are missing their people, the human touch with people. So apart from ensuring that they are okay, productive, they are delivering what they are supposed to deliver, being supported by the organization, we should ensure that they are not so much isolated. So we are promoting more and more the creation of different communities of people sharing some passions, some ideas, so that they can feel the interconnection among them. Then, of course, they should know constantly what the company is doing, because maybe they know from their manager what they are supposed to do. They know how it is going, but this is very much connected to their unit. But then, in Italy, we have more or less 2,300 people. So we have 10 business lines. All these people, they want to know how much the organization is doing, how the organization is doing, not only in Italy, but also in the other countries. So it's not only a matter of being productive, having the right objectives, that are interconnected, but also knowing how the company is doing. Okay, so all these things should be managed very carefully by the manager, that should take care of the personal life, the professional life of the people more and more. This is the difference, because when I get in touch with my people, the first thing should not be like, what have you done? The first priority is, how are you?
Yeah.
How are you doing? How is your kids? How are your families? I mean, this is the priority number one for them. Then you go and talk about the topics, the tasks, and so on. And then they want to know something about the company. Definitely, they want to feel like, well, what is happening? Apart from me and you having this conversation, what is happening in our organization? So this is what we are facing after these 3 weeks of lockdown.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you mentioned we have in my team, we have this tradition of meeting in the morning every day and having this little check-in meeting, that's not strictly goes for the tasks and business ahead, but just how is everyone feeling, how is everyone doing today? And then once we have this moment of connection between ourselves, because we cannot be together as we used to, then we can go into the task. And I think it's really helping us a lot stay connected in this period. And you mentioned managers, and that's very interesting to me, because I think they're in a very tough spot right now, because on one hand, they're going through this change on their own and they've never been here before. And I'm sure that they're scared and unsecure and not sure what to do. But on the other hand, they have a huge responsibility to lead their teams through this as well. So what could managers do to find this balance between their own personal, let's say, going through this change, but also being able to lead someone else through the change?
It's a big challenge, especially for those managers that are not used to work with a strong sense of connection with their people. For those managers that have been working only and mainly checking the task, checking the objectives, is not going to work because they will feel lost in 2 days. Because there's no way to control people, there's no way to check where they are, there's no other way apart from trusting people. Then, of course, if you don't establish the right relationship, it's gonna be like harder. So I think this is a very interesting scenario that we are facing. That I guess that only those managers that have these soft skills will survive. I mean, will survive. When I say this, I mean that people will trust only those kind of people. And this is something that we should work on. I'm referring to me as an HR, that we should ensure that all those managers that are very good in managing the relationship will support us, because HRs in this moment are like in the center of, in the middle of everything, you know. We are asked to manage communication. We are asked to take care of costs. We are asked to, you know, all these kind of stuffs. But the problem is that we need to have the right managers to ensuring that these people are supported in the right way, not only by the HR. It's not it's not only HR that has to take care of people. This is the right moment to prove that all the managers that we have within our companies are there like HRs, not only like managing, but only taking care of people. So this is definitely an important challenge for us as organizations. And I think this will be one of the benefits of this crisis that we are facing, we're running through, how much we will change the management style. Second, remote working is going to be like a big worldwide test to prove that we can do it, okay? And third, of course, managing uncertain scenarios is going to be like much more clear in 3 weeks, in 3 months, for sure, to everyone.
So these are some of the things that we're as an industry and as business people we just have to adapt and relate to. And as personal managers and individuals within the organization, you manage some soft skills, you manage trust, you manage relationship. What else would you work on if you were a manager in a company and you are aware that you need to improve your soft skills? What would you work on in this moment of time?
Yeah. I think communication is going to be more and more important. So, yeah, I would strongly recommend to everyone to start ensuring, to start working on having the right communication plan, the right communication attitude, to ensure that people understand exactly what you're asking them to do every day. And ensuring that people are trusting you. You know, communication is a matter of trust. It's a matter of listening more than speaking. It's not easy to listen to people when you have a screen instead of having the person in front. So, yes, ensuring that these managers are able to communicate and to understand and to listen and to ask for questions, more important today than in the past, because, I mean, with a screen, it's even harder to understand if the person is really understanding you or is listening to you. So you should ask twice instead of only one. If the person is trusting you, you are really communicating. So establishing the right relationship, communicating more and more, having this human touch that is becoming more and more important. There was already a trend, but this is becoming like very much important today. And of course, all the managers should have this already, but ensuring that they are taking the right decision, having the data, the right information, This is very, very important. Unfortunately, all the governments don't have enough data. This we can see also in Italy. Data are not so good today, but for a company, it's definitely important that we manage the right information, the right data as soon as possible. Otherwise, decisions will become maybe harder or even wrong.
Mm. And I think that if I look at the last period, the last couple of years, or even a decade, it feels like we've been going in this direction, and all the skills that we've been developing and the trends in leadership and the trends in organizations, it feels like it was kind of preparing us. And then now that we have to apply it, suddenly we just have to test everything that we've been preparing for so long. Or for those who maybe haven't been preparing, just to hop on the train and join this trend, because it's here now. It's not going anywhere, right?
Yeah, it's scary. You're right. It's really scary. Something like we are at a big Truman Show, that movie.
Yeah. I was having the same thought yesterday.
Humanity. Yeah, man. Someone is testing humanity to prove that we can do.
And I feel like we're unfortunately still closer to the beginning that we are to the end. But let's say that tomorrow was the end of this entire crisis. What would be our lesson? Like, what have we learned so far from this situation in terms of businesses, as leaders, as individuals, as human beings? Like, what are the lessons here? What conclusions should we be drawing from this?
I mean, this is a very hard question. I think I'm too much involved today in managing the current situation that I can see clearly what will be the learnings. Of course, there are already, but figuring it out at the end of the story for me is too early, because there are so many things that we should learn still. So many things that we should do. I think that, this is my experience. I feel like I'm in the middle of the process, still in the middle of the process. Mm-hmm. But what we have learned so far is definitely that we can manage our tasks remotely, first of all. Now we can say, we can do it. So maybe we can change a little bit the way we work, ensuring that people have the right balance between professional and personal life, not asking so many people to travel every day. We can really do it differently. We can prove it. Now it's clear. Then, second lesson learned is that we should invest more and more in this human touch in our companies. It's never too late. So this we can manage. We should manage in the future. Third, there is too much globalization. I'm not negative about globalization, but this globalization is maybe too much. We should maybe protect ourselves better, in a better way. I don't know how, but this is not a company problem, but I think that the government should take care of their population in a different way. Mm-hmm. Because we are too much interconnected because of the economy, not because of the human values. This interconnection we should promote, but not only based on the economic aspects, we'll say. Mm. And then what else? On people, I would say that that doesn't matter if you are in UK, in Italy, in France, in Spain, doesn't matter really. At the end, people they feel they are looking for organization that they can feel they belong to. And more this is becoming clear to me. I'm lucky because I'm currently in a company that really trusts people, that really have these people values in our organization. But I think that other companies are realizing that if you don't have people connected, if you didn't spread the right values, your organization is running this big risk of failing, and this could happen definitely.
So it's very interesting. On one hand, we're relying on technology and the remote work to make things faster and more efficient. But on the other hand, we're relying on the human connection to also make us work together well and build trust and have organizations where people, like to go to work and like to be there. So it's very interesting. We have these contrasting ideas that actually have to work together in order for us to make the next step, I think.
Yeah, but there's another point that, in Italy, this we can see every day. More and more solidarity is becoming a key word, because we really want to ensure that people are safe in all the aspects, in all the sectors and so on. Second point, yes, we really trust technology and science. Everybody is looking for a solution. It's unbelievable that in few months, in few days, I don't think even 1 year, few months, we will have some kind of solution. It's impossible because the entire world is working on it. So yes, we really trust. Everybody is trusting, is looking for a technical solution, something from science, from medicines. We know we should trust these kind of industries to support us in recovering very soon the situation. So it's definitely a combination of human and technology, science, and so on. This virus is like saying to us, okay, guys, you should trust science, but at the same time, you should ensure that people are safe,
Right.
Because only science can protect yourself. Okay?
And how do you see this unfolding? Like, what does the world look like, and what does business look like once this crisis is over? Do we ever go back to the way things were before, or are we at the point where there's really no going back?
I wish I had the answer, the correct answer. Well, actually, I can see this in Italy and in the other countries. Of course, as you can see, industries are like closing everything, at least temporarily. This will have a huge impact on us, because the problem is on how many days, how many months our companies, especially small companies, small, medium-sized company, can resist without money, without cash. So this is the crucial point, that maybe we will survive, and definitely we will. Maybe we'll find a solution, but from an economical point of view, we will have tougher problems because of people not having a job, because of people facing very, very huge problems with unemployment. This is very much connected to the length of this situation. So we definitely need to receive support from the governments to ensure that these companies can survive. Otherwise, there will be many that will be forced to close. So this is what we can see in Italy. That in Italy, unfortunately, we have many small and medium-sized companies. If they don't receive money, it's very hard for them to resist for like 2 months. This is too much for them. So this is a tremendous question. There are so many people talking about this, very, very good experts. Scenarios are very tough. So we should definitely hope that they will find a solution very soon. And those countries that are very virtuous will be the best one in performing in this situation, because they have enough money to support these companies. So I think this is the real critical point for the future.
And as you said, I mean, I agree. I've been reading so many different scenarios, from the apocalyptic ones to the very optimistic ones, so there's a very big spectrum. And I think what's left for us is just keep informed, stay together, and try to figure out this, step by step and see where we're headed. And hopefully, if we manage to navigate where we're headed and to also have an impact on how we want the world and business to look like after this crisis. So is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything like a final message? What would you say to the people in this situation?
Yeah, I would say that at the beginning, everybody, it's because of the nature, our attitude, we underestimate the problem. At the beginning, is more or less everywhere like this. I can see it because I'm constantly in touch with all my people everywhere, from Brazil to China. Everyone is underestimating the problem. And then we were doing like this also in Italy, We can manage, it's going to work, don't worry, and so on. Because we don't want to face the truth that, something is happening and is having a big impact in our lives. So the first recommendation is not to underestimate the problem. Ensure that, first of all, you're safe. Then, after, when you're safe, you can take your decisions, ensuring that everybody knows which are your decisions step by step. Then, I was realizing this yesterday, that after 3 weeks, now it's becoming normal. This new life is becoming normal, because that it takes more or less approximately 21 days to get used to a new way. So I'm realizing myself that more and more I'm getting used to this. I'm more able to take decisions in these scenarios more than 2 weeks ago. I'm more able to work with my people, more productive every day. So I really hope that you will not have the same timing that we are having in Italy, but don't underestimate and wait a little bit until you get used to the new world. And then there will be another one, of course, because we all face the new world that is coming in few months. That's all. I don't know if it was helpful.
It sure was. It's really helpful because you've been in this a little bit longer than us. So it feels like you're having a conversation from the future, because you've seen some of the steps that we're about to go through.
Yeah, definitely what you're doing is great. What is really helping us as well is that we are a global company. I'm very lucky that I can have conversation with everyone everywhere. And this is really helping me to get ready for the next, but also ensuring that who's coming after me receive enough information from me. But then we have this great exchange of ideas, opinions, and this is really helping me. So more and more, as I told you, this interconnection is helping us to overcome. If you are, I think, companies that are like mainly based in one country, having managed only one business line, will face a little bit more problems than us, that at least we can have this kind of conversation, at least from Serbia to Italy, and then I'm going to have a call with the British people in a few minutes. So this is really helping us to find new solutions faster, and feel less isolated than before. Because yes, I can tell you, 3 weeks ago in Italy, we were like, oh my God, what is happening? Apart from China, so now it's not that we are okay, we are happy that everybody is running through this, but at least we are in the same page, we are all together in this, and then we can overcome together.
And hopefully that these conversations and many more like these would help the people and also have a sense of this community and feel that we're all together in this and no one's really isolated and alone, even though we are isolated in a certain way.
Yeah.
So Luisa, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much.
You're really welcome.
It was a wonderful conversation, and I hope that we'll have a chance to talk very soon, maybe in some brighter circumstances, perhaps, and then we can do this again very soon.
Sure, there will be this opportunity. Thank you, Nicola.
Thank you so much. I wish
Have
you
a
health
great
and stay
day.
safe. You too.